Swami Namini. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So once again, welcome everyone for morning Srimad Bhagvatam discussion. So I was asked today we are reading from Srimad Bhagvatam, Canto 6, Chapter 9, text number 46. So this is appearance of Brittasura and how the demigods were afraid and everybody is running. So the demigods are praying to the Supreme Lord for his help. So after the demigods have prayed to the Supreme Lord, now Shukdev Goswami continues to tell to Parikshit Maharaj what was the Lord's response after he heard the prayers of all these demigods. So let me share my screen. Okay, I don't think I can share my screen. Anyways, so I will read. So Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 9, text number 46. Shri Shuka Uvacha Athaevam Idito Rajan Sadram Tridashair Hari Swam Upasthanam Akarnaya Prathatan Abhinanditaha. Translation. Shri Shukdev Goswami continued, O King Parikshit, when the demigods offered the Lord their sincere prayers in this way, the Lord listened by his causeless mercy. Being pleased, he then replied to the demigods. There is no purport to this particular verse. We'll read next verse also, text number 47. So in this verse, Shukdev Goswami is just mentioning to Parikshit Maharaj that when the demigods prayed to the Supreme Lord, so the Supreme Lord, he listened by his causeless mercy. And being pleased by their prayers, he replied to the demigods. So in the next verse, Lord Hari is starting to speak back to the demigods. So text number 47. Shri Bhagwan Uvacha Prito Aham Vahasura Sreshta Mad Upasthana Vidyaya Atmeshwarya Smriti Pumsam Bhaktischeva Yayamai. Translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O beloved demigods, you have offered your prayers to me with great knowledge, and I am certainly most pleased with you. A person is liberated by such knowledge, and thus he remembers my exalted position, which is above the conditions of material life. Such a devotee is fully purified by offering prayers in full knowledge. This is the source of devotional service to me. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Another name of Supreme Personality of Godhead is Uttama Shloka, which means that he is offered prayers with selected verses. Bhakti means Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu, chanting and hearing about the Lord Vishnu. Impersonalists cannot be purified, for they do not offer personal prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Even though they sometimes offer prayers, the prayers are not directed towards the Supreme Person. Impersonalists sometimes show their incomplete knowledge by addressing the Lord as being nameless. They always offer prayers indirectly, saying, you are this, you are that, but they do not know to whom they are praying. A devotee, however, always offers personal prayers. A devotee say, Govindam Adhipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Govinda, unto Krishna. That is the way to offer prayers. If one continues to offer such personal prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is eligible to become pure devotee and return home back to Godhead. So these two texts we just read, the prayers offered by the demigods to the Supreme Lord, and in response, what is Lord's reply back to the demigods. So in text 46, one very important point which is mentioned here is Lord heard the prayers of the demigods out of his causeless mercy. See, first of all, when anybody prays to the Lord, they recite any prayers. Because most of the time what's happening is somebody is approaching the Lord for some benediction. As in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says 4 type of people approach. One who is in some distress, artha, and then arthi, somebody who is in need of some wealth, some money. Jigyasu, somebody who is inquisitive, and then Jnani, who is in knowledge. And when somebody is approaching the Supreme Lord for any of the purposes, when somebody is praying to the Lord, please help me in this way, please help me that way, please give me this or give me that. Lord doesn't have to stay there actually. Lord doesn't have to listen to their prayers. So if Lord is listening to the prayers of the devotee, that is also Lord's mercy only. Because Lord is situated in everybody's heart. Anyways, the Lord knows what is the need and want of anybody. So a few texts back we had read, the Lord knows the conveniences and inconveniences of everybody. So one does not even have to pray to the Lord for asking all these things. But even if somebody prays, Lord doesn't have to stay and listen to their prayers. So it is Lord's causeless mercy that he heard the prayer of his devotees. And then in the next text, text 47, the word used is Sura Sreshtha, the best among the Suras, the demigods. So the two words are Sura and Asura. Sura means who are filled with divine qualities. And Asura is the ones who are filled with demonic qualities. And Sura also mean one who follows the rules set forth by the Supreme Lord. And they are trying to serve the Supreme Lord. And even if they are finding any material enjoyment, any sense enjoyment, they want to have the sense enjoyment by following the rules and regulation given by the Lord. Asura, on the other side, is one who dwells within his own life here. For him, that is the most important thing. I want to enjoy. No matter how I get the enjoyment, I want to enjoy. When somebody has that mentality, selfish enjoyment propensity, without following any rules and regulations, by disobeying the laws of God, that is called Asura. So here, Sura Sreshtha means best among the demigods. But when Srila Prabhupada is writing the translation, Prabhupada is writing, the Lord is addressing that, oh my beloved demigods. Because it is very personalized relationship with the Supreme Lord. Lord is thinking not just that, okay, you are the best among the demigods, but Lord is reciprocating back with them. Oh my beloved demigods. Lord addresses them simply based on that, yes, you belong to me. I have a relationship with you. So, oh my beloved demigods, I am very pleased with your prayers. So when the demigods prayed, Lord heard their prayers and he is very pleased. Lord is saying, somebody who understands my exalted position, which is above any material conditions of life. And in such state of knowledge, when somebody prays to me, he is liberated. Because offering the prayers to the Lord, that is the source of devotional service. As Prabhupada is writing in the purport, devotional service means Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Padasevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakhyam Atmanivedanam Iti Pumsa Arpitah Vishnu Bhaktischa Navalakshana. So Prahlad Maharaj in Srimad Bhagvatam, he mentions what is devotion service. Devotion service can be offered in these 9 different ways. The 9 limbs of devotional service. It starts with Shravanam, by hearing about the Supreme Lord; Kirtanam, by glorifying the Supreme Lord, by speaking about the Supreme Lord, by chanting the holy name of the Lord; Vishnu Smaranam, by remembering the Supreme Lord; Pada Sevanam, serving the Supreme Lord; Archanam, offering Nevedya, offering Arati to the Supreme Lord; Vandanam, offering prayers to the Supreme Lord; Dasyam, serving the Lord in the mentality of being as the menial servant of the Lord; Sakhyam, serving the Supreme Lord in a friendly relationship; Atmanivedanam, offering everything to the Supreme Lord. So in that way, devotional service can be offered in these 9 different ways. And one of them is Vandanam, offering prayers. So offering prayers is one of the very important aspect of devotional service. And what is that prayer? How that prayer should be? That prayer should be in the mood of surrender, in the mood of submission, with love towards the Supreme Lord. So when we have that mood of submission and love for the Supreme Lord, and then we plead to the Lord for anything, we offer any prayers in terms of glorification of the Lord, in terms of being grateful to the Lord, or even in terms of asking something, submitting our plea to the Lord, that is Vandanam. So prayer can be offered in 3 different ways. One is with mood of submission, surrender, with love, but without any expectation, without asking anything from the Lord. Right? Just glorifying the Lord, just being grateful to the Lord. So in that way, mood of submission and love, offering prayers. Second category is, yes, somebody is submissive to the Lord. They have love in their heart, but there is desire. They are offering the prayers with some desire to be relieved from any misery, desire to be gaining some material prosperity. So that is the second category where the demigods are. They are offering prayers to the Supreme Lord. They are submissive to the Lord. They have the loving exchange towards the Lord, but they are praying to the Lord with desire. So that is still good. The third category of prayer is there is no submissiveness, there is no mood of surrender, there is no love in the heart, but one approaches the Supreme Lord just offering some prayers, submitting their plea just to fulfill their desires. Now, in what category do we follow? Or in what category do most of the people follow? Like generally people approach the Lord, they don't have any mood of submissiveness, they have no surrender, they have no love for the Lord, but they approach the Lord just considering the Lord as their order supplier. So in that way, people offer their prayers to the Supreme Lord. And the best way to offer prayers is when we have submissiveness to the Lord, when we have that mood of surrender, love to the Lord, and without any expectation, when we approach the Supreme Lord just for the purpose of serving the Supreme Lord. So in Srimad Bhagvatam, there are so many wonderful prayers described, how the different devotees, they are approaching the Supreme Lord, they are glorifying the Supreme Lord. From the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam till and 12th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, every canto of Srimad Bhagavatam is filled with various prayers offered to the Lord. First canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, we know Kunti Maharani, she offers her prayer to the Supreme Lord. What is that scenario? Lord Krishna, after this war of Kurukshetra is over, Yudhishthira Maharaj has been established as the king of Hastinapura. Now Krishna is ready to leave for Dwarika from Hastinapura. And then he has protected Uttra also, and protected the child in the womb of Uttra also, Parikshit Maharaj. And finally, when Lord Krishna is ready to leave for Dwarika, he is getting onto the chariot. At that time, Kunti Maharani approaches the Supreme Lord. She approaches Lord Krishna and she starts offering prayer. So many wonderful prayers are there. That is 8th chapter of first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, prayers of Queen Kunti. And Lord Krishna, he stays back and he listens to the prayer of Kunti Maharani. After she is done with all the prayers, she has said those prayers, and Lord Krishna simply just smiles at her. And then Lord Krishna departs for Dwarika. Because in her prayer, she is just glorifying the Supreme Lord, and there is no personal motive behind, just no desire for asking for something. And Lord Krishna just patiently heard the prayers, being pleased by the prayer. He just smiles and then leaves for Dwarika. And then next chapter of Bhagavatam, first canto, Bhishma Stuti, we know prayers of Bhishma Pitama. Third canto, we know prayers by Brahma, prayers of so many other wonderful devotees described throughout Bhagavatam. Dhruva Maharaj, fourth canto, fifth canto, Prithu Maharaj, sixth canto. We know the prayers offered by so many other devotees. Seventh canto, Prahlad Maharaj. Then 10th canto is filled with prayers, prayers of the gopis, Gopi Geet, Venu Geet. 11th canto, Avadhuta Brahmana offering the prayers, Avanti Brahmana offering the prayers. So in that way, throughout the Bhagavatam, we see so many wonderful prayers are recited. And Rupa Goswami in Nectar of Devotion, he writes, Vandanam, Vandanam means reciting notable prayers. We even if we do not know any prayers of our own, we don't have the capacity to compose our own prayers for the glorification of the Lord. Simply reciting these very prayers which has been recited by other devotees, reciting the notable prayers, that itself is also vandanam, that is also reciting prayers. And even if we cannot, somebody say, I cannot even read, I don't know how to recite the shlokas, still, at least this Mahamantra, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, just chanting this Hare Krishna Mahamantra is also prayer. That is also Vandanam. Even though it comes in part of Kirtanam also, primarily, but then reciting this mantra, chanting this mantra, it becomes a prayer also. How is that? What is the meaning of this mantra? Prabhupada has given a very nice elaborate purport to this mantra. Prabhupada's very famous short video also describing the meaning of this mantra. So what is the meaning of this mantra? We say Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So in this mantra, what is being recited? We are calling out to Srimati Radharani and Lord Krishna. Hari. Hari is Lord Vishnu, Lord Krishna. Why he is addressed as Hari? Sarva Amangal Hare. One who removes all inauspiciousness. That is Hari. Who steals away all our bad karma, who steals away all the anxieties, all the miseries, all the problems. And Hari also means Prema Diya Man Hare, who by giving his love in the heart, he takes away our heart, he steals away our heart. So that is Hari. So Krishna steals away our heart. And one who steals away the heart of Krishna, that is called Hara. That is Srimati Radharani, the pleasure potency, the internal potency of the Lord. And invocative, Hara is addressed as Hare. As we say Radha, Radha is addressed as Radhe. O Radhe, Braj Devike, O Lalite. So Radha has become Radhe, invocative. Vraj Devika has become Vraj Devike. Lalita addressed as Lalite. O Lalite, O Vishakhe. So in that way, Hara becomes Hare. So Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. When we are calling out this Mahamantra, when we are chanting this Mahamantra, we are calling out to Srimati Radharani and Lord Krishna. We are calling out to the Supreme Lord and the energy of the Supreme Lord. And Prabhupada writes in the purport of this Mahamantra that this is a prayer, a call of the devotee to the Supreme Lord. Please engage us in your service. Then anybody can recite this mantra. There is no boundary, there is no any consideration. Even a dog, even a small boy, they can chant this Mahamantra. Even a dog can reciprocate to this Mahamantra. We know in the pastime of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, there was Shivananda Sen who met a dog, or who had a dog, and this dog chanting in the kind of dancing in the kirtan. And when the devotees from Navadvip are going to Jagannath Puri during the Rath Yatra festival, this one dog started following the devotees. And the devotees, they will give him some prasad also to eat. And this dog is just being there with the devotees. And as they arrived, this dog just disappeared. And the dog basically was seen rising in the sky, kind of being liberated, received by the Vishnu Dutas, going back to the abode of the Lord. So even the animals, they can reciprocate towards the chanting of this Mahamantra. So there is no rules and regulation, no fast rules and regulation which are considered for the chanting of this Mahamantra. At any time of the day, in any situation, one can chant this Mahamantra. So even if somebody is not able to recite any other prayers, just chanting the Mahamantra in a very submissive mood, that is also a prayer. And then Rupa Goswami also described Vandanam. Vandanam also means paying obeisances. It's not about just reciting prayers, but to pay obeisances also, that is also Vandanam. So paying obeisances to the Supreme Lord, when we go in the temple in front of the Lord, offering our full Dandavat to the Lord. So for the Prabhus, they offer the full Dandavat Pranam, or what we call as Shashtanga Pranam, Ashtanga Pranam. And Matajis, they offer Panchanga Pranam. So, but the right way of offering obeisances is one's hand should be stretched out. And what is the meaning of the hands being stretched out? Is we are paying full obeisances to the Lord with our hands stretched out, trying to touch the lotus feet of the Lord. So we should try to pay obeisances in the right way, with both hands up front. Sometimes what happens when devotee pay obeisances, with one hand they are holding on to something. Generally, what is that? The bead bag. Right? They are in their neck, the bead bag is hanging, and they are holding on to bead bag and paying obeisances with one hand up front. That is not the right way, actually. One should pay obeisances with both hands stretched up front. One hand front is like the Hitler pose. One should not just pay obeisances with one hand like this. So generally, if we say offering prayer, purpose should be with the mood of submission, with love in the heart, without any desires. But generally, we see people approach the Lord with some material benefit. Or even when they approach the saintly people, some sadhu come, people approach some saintly people. For their approaching, the purpose of approaching the saintly people also, they will say, please give us some blessing. And what kind of blessing they want? Oh, may the marriage of my daughter, my son be done in a nice family. May we have a nice house. May we have the long life. May we get the good health. May my son get good marks in the exams. May I get promotion in the job. May I get my promotion in the business. My business may expand. So people approach the Supreme Lord or the saintly people generally for some material desires. But approaching the Supreme Lord with all these little tiny material desires, this is also just like a very foolish approach. Because the Supreme Lord, he has everything, he owns everything, and he can give everything to the devotee. Just approaching for these small things is just like a rich person or a beggar when he approaches a very wealthy person and asks him for 1 rupee donation, one should ask the wealthy person as per his capacity, not as per our capacity. Just like if we want to build a temple, and for building the temple, there is a $1 million budget, and you are approaching very wealthy people of the city to help with the construction of the temple. So you approach a very wealthy person who is a billionaire, and he can easily give $50,000, $100,000 in charity. So you approach that person, you talk about this nice, wonderful project of temple construction and all these various activity which will take place. And this person seems very interested. He's ready to help. He asks, okay, so please tell me, how can I contribute? How can I help? And you ask, oh, if you like, please give me $5, $10 donation for this project. So approaching such a wealthy person and asking a petty donation is not a very intelligent. So same way, the Supreme Lord, actually, he can award us anything. He is ready to give his Vaikuntha Dham. He is eager to bring us back to his Vaikuntha. He is eager to put us in Vaikuntha airline, business class ticket. But what do we ask? Oh, please give me little this thing or little that thing. So that is not very intelligent. Just like Prabhupada used to tell this one very nice story. There was a old woman, and throughout her life, she had maintained herself by collecting the dry woods and selling those dry woods. In that way, whatever little earning she gets, she maintains herself. As she has got old now, she's still continuing with her that routine to maintain herself rather than being dependent on somebody. One day she goes to the forest, outskirts of the village, and she collects all the dry woods, make a pile of the woods, keep on her head, and walking back to the village. On the way, she got tripped by something, and the pile of wood fell down from her head. And she is praying to the Lord, oh Krishna, oh my Lord, please help me. And in that state, Lord appears in front of that old woman. And Lord smiles at her and asks, what do you want? Just imagine this woman at that time, she could have asked anything. Please relieve me from my this old age condition. Please give me your own dham. Please take me back with you. But what did she ask? She said, please help me pick up this pile of dry woods and keep it back on my head. So that is our situation also. We are asking the Lord, please put this burden back on my head. I want to stay burdened in this material world. I just want to continue like that in this material world only. And we are so much busy with our self-imposed responsibilities. Right? We have responsibility of maintaining the house, maintaining the cars, this chore, that chore. So many self-imposed responsibilities. And we feel burdened by those. And we keep asking the Lord, please help me to complete this task or that task. So one should not approach the Supreme Lord with these small petty needs of this world. And same way the saintly people, when people approach the saintly people also, they're asking these sort of blessings only for their material fulfillments. Once Srila Prabhupada was traveling in the train in India with his disciples, and seeing the sadhu, generally the people are very respectful. And sometimes people will approach also the sadhus to get their blessings. So one person, seeing Srila Prabhupada, a saintly person, he approached Prabhupada and said, Swamiji, please bless me. And Prabhupada knows what is the general mentality of people, what kind of blessing they are looking for. And Prabhupada said, yes, I will bless you. See, I bless these devotees also. And see now how they have become. They belong to very rich families. But because I blessed them, they gave up all their all their wealth, all their riches, all their families, and they have completely dedicated to me. So I will bless you also. And this person immediately ran away. Swamiji, that's okay, Swamiji. So point is, people approach the Lord and the saintly people for their some material desires. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when somebody approaches Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what is the blessing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is offering? What kind of benediction Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is offering? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, being a sannyasi, when he is walking around to different cities and villages, many times people will approach asking for blessing. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will give one particular blessing. What is that? Shri Krishna Matirastu. May your consciousness be absorbed in Lord Krishna. May you become Krishna conscious. Krishner Matirastu. So that is the right way of offering blessing. If somebody approaches for blessing, rather than telling, may you have long life, healthy life, peace and prosperity, one should say, Krishner Matirastu. May you become Krishna conscious. May your mind and consciousness be absorbed in Lord Krishna. Many times you may have seen on the altar, Pujari giving blessing, Sitari of the Lord putting on the head of all the devotees. So in the mind, when Pujari is putting that Sitari on everybody's head, what are the offering we are doing? Krishner Matirastu. Just praying for everybody, may your mind become absorbed in Krishna. So we should pray to the Lord in that way. And this is how Mahaprabhu is blessing everybody. Now, even if we pray to the Lord, what kind of benediction we should be asking to the Lord? So there is a very beautiful pastime which I want to narrate very briefly. That is from 10th canto of Bhagvatam, Lord Krishna's one small pastime, and Janmashtami is coming up, so it's good to absorb a little bit of our consciousness in the Leelas of Lord Krishna. So we know Lord Krishna at the age of almost 10 years, 3 months, around that time, when Akrura ji came to take Krishna to Mathura. So Akrura, when brought Krishna and Balram to Mathura, and some of the cowherd friends of Krishna, they also came along with them. As they entered into Mathura, now Krishna told Akrurji, you go to your home, we want to visit the city, we want to see the city, and after some time we will come. So Akrurji went to his home. Krishna Balram along with the cowherd friends, they are walking around in the city, just trying to see the city. And they met many people that time. One of the celebrated pastime is Krishna killing that washerman. Right? So Krishna, because Krishna and Balram, as they are walking around, they saw this washerman with a pile of clothes on his head. He was walking towards his way. And Lord Krishna Balram, they approached this washerman, please give us some nice clothes. We have come from village. We do not have the city clothes. We are villagers. Please give us some nice clothes. And this washerman happened to be the washerman of, he happens to be a royal washerman, washing the clothes of the king, King Kansa, and the ministers. So this washerman, he looked at Krishna Balram and these cowherd boys and said, you villagers, what do you think of yourself? You want royal clothes? Have you looked at your face? So he started criticizing, he started insulting Krishna Balram. He could have simply say, no, these clothes belong to the king. Sorry, I cannot give you. But rather than saying that, he started insulting and blaspheming and criticizing. Gali galoch dena shuru kar diya. And Lord Krishna immediately with his finger, he cut off the head of this washerman. So many details are there. I will not go into all these details. I want to focus on one particular pastime because our topic is offering prayers. Right? What is the mood of offering prayers based on the verses we are reading here? That the demigods offered the prayers to the Lord, and being pleased by their prayers, Lord reciprocated back. So the mood of offering prayers, that's what we want to focus. So Lord Krishna killed that washerman, and then they put on these nice clothes. Now these clothes happen to be very big clothes because they belong to the elder person, adults, and Krishna Balram being 10, 11-year boys. So these clothes are very big for them, very loose for them. So just putting on those clothes, they move forward. And one tailor, he came forward. The tailor saw Krishna Balram being attracted by their beauty, and he has heard about Krishna Balram. All the residents of Mathura, they have heard about Krishna Balram, their leelas, their pastimes. So this tailor came forward and he told Krishna, please allow me, let me fix these clothes for you, let me make these nice fitting for you. So this tailor with his needle and thread, he just did his he showed his talent and he right there fixed these clothes, made them very nice fitting, cut off the extra cloth and stitched them all together. So now Krishna Balram, dressed in nice royal clothes, city clothes, they move forward. As they moved forward, now came one very this important pastime here, which we want to talk about. This person called Sudama florist. This Sudama, not the same Sudama which went to Dwarika to meet Krishna, Krishna's childhood friend who studied with Krishna in Sandipani Muni's ashram. So this is not that Sudama. So this is also named Sudama. He is a florist, malakar. He makes garlands. And his specialty is he makes garland only for devatas or the Supreme Lord. Only the garland which is to be offered in Devalya. He doesn't give his garland for any other purpose. If somebody approaches this florist, oh, tomorrow is my wedding, tomorrow is my birthday celebration, we are celebrating this function at home, can we buy some garlands? And he will say, run away, my garlands are not for that purpose, my garlands are reserved for Devalya, to be offered in Devalya. So this florist, he is a very dedicated person making garlands in the service of the Lord. And as he saw Krishna Balram coming forward, he immediately came out of his home, came out of his hut, and he welcomed Krishna Balram, took them inside their home, and he offered nice garlands to Krishna and Balram. And he offered his prayers to Krishna and Balram. And being pleased by the prayers and the offering of these garlands, Lord Krishna asked him, please ask me any benediction. What can we give you in exchange? So if we were in that situation, what will we do? Right? We will, if we are offering something to Krishna and we are asked, what do you want in exchange? What will we say? We will say, please give me this, please give me that. People go and put $10 in the hundi. $10 is also a big amount, right? In India, people will go put 1 rupee, 2 rupee, 5 rupee. And here also, when people come in USA, also we see people put coins in donation box, right? Cents. So dime or a quarter or something, they said, oh, we have give some nice donation to Krishna. So whatever is heavy for our wallet, we want to put in Krishna's hundi. Keeping these chilled, these dimes and quarters are heavy for the wallet. We say, oh, let me just put it in the hundi. So people put some little donation in the hundi and then they want big amount in exchange. They say, I'm giving you $1, please give me $1 million back. I'm offering you one coconut, now I want this big benediction. So we give little bit to Krishna, but then we want big amount in exchange. Here, this florist offered garlands, and Krishna asked him, what can we give you in return, in exchange? So what is the benediction this Sudama Brahmana is asking, or Sudama florist is asking? So very beautiful verse, 10th canto, 41 chapter, text number 51. So api yavre achalam bhaktin tasmin akhilatmani tadbhakteshu cha sohardam bhuteshu cha dayam param. So he asks three particular things here. He says, please give me unshakable devotion for the Supreme Lord. So api vavre achalam bhaktin, unshakable devotion, tasmin akhilatmana, towards that Supreme Personality of Godhead who is the Supreme Soul of everybody. So that is first benediction he asked, unshakable devotion. Second benediction he asked is tad bhakteshu cha sohardam, friendship with the devotees of the Lord. And then the third thing, bhuteshu cha dayam param, and transcendental compassion for all the living entities. So very nice benedictions to ask. If we want to ask something from the Supreme Lord, we should understand what to ask. First thing is unshakable devotion. Second thing, friendship towards the devotees of the Lord. Third thing, transcendental compassion towards all living entity. So he is not saying simply daya means compassion. He is saying dayam param, the topmost compassion, the transcendental compassion. Somebody may show daya to other living entities by giving them some food, giving them some water, some clothing, some medicine, some shelter. Those are all good for their material needs, but the best compassion for somebody if we can show is to give them the real knowledge about Krishna, knowledge about the Supreme Lord, how to become free from the bondage of this material world, connecting somebody at the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. That is called transcendental compassion. So these three benedictions he asked, and of course Lord granted these three benedictions. And apart from that, even without asking, Lord gave him everything else also. So in the next verse, text number 52, it describes what Lord Krishna awarded him. So not only Lord Krishna granted Sudama's these benediction, but he also awarded him strength, long life, fame, beauty, ever increasing prosperity for his family. So all these things were by default given by Krishna. So we do not have to ask the Lord, please give me this, please give me that. Our intention should be very clear, being submissive towards the Lord and having that love in the heart for the Supreme Lord. Rest, everything is taken care by the Supreme Lord himself. So he awarded everything to this Brahman, this Sudama florist. And in the same context, actually, Bhaktivinoda Thakur also writes in Jaiva Dharma, what is our eternal duty? What should we be asking from the Supreme Lord? So in that also, what does he say? Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Name Ruchi, Vaishnava Seva, Jiver Daya. These are the three ornaments of the living entity. Name Ruchi, having the taste for the holy name, chanting the holy name, glorifying the Supreme Lord. Vaishnava Seva, serving the devotees of the Lord. And Jivera Daya, showing the compassion towards all the living entity. So these three are same as what this Sudama florist has asked. So that should be our intention, our mood. See, the relationship with which Lord has for his devotees is very personal relationship. It is a very personal relationship with each and everyone. And we also need to reciprocate with the Lord in the same way. Generally, Lord does not forget any small thing what some devotee has done, what anybody has done. Lord does not forget any smallest activity which we have done for the Lord, and he reciprocates based on our service to the Supreme Lord. But in generally, what is our nature? Contrary to what is Lord's compassion, what is our nature? Somebody may have done a lot of service for us, and we simply forget that service. Somebody may have done a lot of things for us for years and years. Let's say if you are the temple president, and there are so many devotees who are doing nice services, and one day this devotee has done something and you became offended on that, and you say so many nasty things to that person, and that person now goes away, doesn't come back to the temple. And now because this person is not coming to the temple, you have become completely inimical towards that devotee, or what you get indifferent towards that devotee. Now you do not care what is happening with him or what he is doing. So all the services that devotee has done for so many years, one has forgotten all that. So because of our ego, we forget all the things somebody has done. Once they say something which is displeasing to us, we forget all the other loving exchanges for so many years. So that is our ego, right? Because of our ego, we spoil so many relationships in this world, relationship with the devotees also, relationship in general also. And we may forget the devotee who has helped us in our progress in Krishna consciousness. But Krishna does not forget which devotee has helped which living entity, which devotee has helped us to progress in Krishna consciousness, which devotee has helped which particular living entity in bringing them closer to Krishna. So Lord Krishna never forgets that. And Lord Krishna awards them, reciprocates with them accordingly. So our nature is, because we are filled with these anarthas, filled with this ego, we are not able to appreciate all these different services, different contributions of other people. And Prabhupada write in the purport about impersonalist tendency. Impersonalists, they cannot offer personal prayers to the Lord. Right? They approach the Supreme Lord, they say, they may offer prayer to the universe. Oh, may there be peace in the universe and all that. Okay, this is good, offering that type of prayer, but they are not able to offer any personal prayers to the Supreme Lord. Impersonalists may also accept Guru, may also accept the path of bhakti also on outside. They may worship Krishna also, but their ultimate goal is different. They consider ultimately impersonal Brahma Jyoti, that is our highest goal, that is higher than Krishna. And they may use the process of bhakti, they may even use Krishna to attain that goal. After that, what do? They kick off everything. Just like climbing up on the ladder, once they reach that, they kick out that ladder itself. So after that, they don't have anything to do with Krishna, with the process of bhakti. They think, oh, that was intermediate process for us. But for the devotees, for the personalist, bhakti is highest. Bhakti, Krishna is our sadhan also, Krishna is our sadhya also. So we are not using Krishna or the process of bhakti as a ladder. Right now also we are engaging in the process of bhakti, Shravanam Kirtanam. And later on, when somebody become eligible to go back to Krishna, there also devotee is engaging in same activity only, Shravanam Kirtanam. So one should never forget all these different devotees, whoever has contributed in our progress, who has done some service to us. One should develop that personal relationship, the way Lord has the personal relationship with each and everyone. So we are talking about Vandanam, prayers, the prayers offered by various wonderful devotees in the pages of Bhagvatam. On that note, in Srimad Bhagvatam, there is another wonderful set of prayers. We know 7th canto of Srimad Bhagvatam, prayers of Prahlad Maharaj. When Lord Nrsimhadev has appeared out of the pillar to kill Hiranyakashipu and protect his devotee Prahlad, once Nrsimhadev has killed this Hiranyakashipu, Prahlad Maharaj approaches Nrsimhadev, offers him garland, and he starts offering wonderful prayers. And one of the prayer which Prahlad Maharaj is reciting, see, at that time, being pleased by the prayer of Prahlad Maharaj, Nrsimhadev asked, please ask me any benediction. What kind of benediction will you like to have? And Prahlad Maharaj said, I am your servant, you are my master. And the duty of servant is to always serve the master, not to have a business dealing with the master, that I did this thing for you, now you do this thing for me. So if I ask for any my personal desires, my personal needs, that will become like a business dealing. And I do not want to have a business dealing with you. I am your servant. All I want is service at your lotus feet, association of your devotees. And one of the prayer which Prahlad Maharaj offers is, Evam janam nipityatam prabhavahi kupe kama abhikama manuyah prapantya prasangat kritvat samat surshrina bhagwan grihita soham katham nubrajase tava bhritya sevam. So what is this prayer saying? My dear Lord, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, because of my association with material desires, one after another, I was gradually falling into this blind well full of snakes. Prabhabha Kupe. I was falling in this well full of snakes, following the general populace. But your servant Narada, he kindly accepted me as his disciple and instructed me how to achieve this transcendental position. Therefore, my first duty is to serve him. How could I leave his service? One very, very wonderful prayer, one very wonderful lesson. What is Prahlad Maharaj saying here? He is showing his gratitude. Yes, he is grateful to the Supreme Lord, definitely, but he is grateful to the devotee who helped him attain Krishna. Narad Muni, who preached to him, who gave him guidance. Prahlad Maharaj is saying, Narad Muni saved me, and my first duty is to serve him. Tab bhritti sevam. Because Narad Muni is your servant, he is your devotee, and he guided me also in the process. My first duty is to serve him. How can I leave his service? So it's not that once we attain Krishna, we forget everybody else now. That okay, now I have relationship with Krishna. I do not need anybody else. No, Krishna sees how grateful our heart is, how grateful we are. Are we grateful to all the different people who have helped us in the process? Are we grateful for all the different opportunities which are given to us? So having that gratefulness in the heart, that is one of the very important quality to have to progress in this bhakti. So developing personal relationship with the Supreme Lord as well as with the devotees of the Lord. And our situation is such that we, because of our ego, we give up all these wonderful exchanges, wonderful relationships, and we are not able to give that personal dealing with each and every aspect of Krishna consciousness. So in one sense, if we really see, even though we claim ourselves to be devotee, I'm speaking for myself, but somewhere in the heart, we are like impersonalist. Why? Because we neglect so many aspects of Krishna consciousness. We start taking them for granted because we become too familiar with those things. Right? We start taking them casually because we are having those things on daily basis, and we start thinking them very casually, and we start to neglect those. And in one sense, it is like a tendency of an impersonalist only, just like the chanting of the holy name. Chanting the holy name, Krishna has given us this opportunity to chant the holy name, to render service to the holy name. But how much attention are we paying while chanting? We are thinking of so many different things, so many different tasks. I need to finish this task, that task. And how attentive are we to the holy name? Are we developing that personal relationship with the Nama Prabhu? Right? So isn't it in one sense we are behaving like an impersonalist, then honoring prasadam? Because we are eating prasad every day, we start to take it so casually because we become too familiar. Oh, prasad, yeah, that's fine. Because we are eating prasad day in and out, and we do not pay that same reverence to that prasad. Prasad, that is the food which has touched the lips of Krishna. Krishna has given us his mercy in the form of that prasad, that eatables. And are we relishing those, honoring that prasad in that same mood? When we are given this Charanamrita, nice festival happening, Lord's Abhishek is performed, this Charanamrita is collected, and this Charanamrita is being distributed. Are we eager to receive that Charanamrita? Or we are just, it has become like another object for us. This has touched the feet of the Lord, touched the transcendental body of the Lord, and that has come out in the form of Charanamrita. Are we having that dealing with all these various aspects of Krishna consciousness? And then the most important here, devotee association. Krishna has given his devotees so that we can take association of the devotees, learn from them, and progress in our Krishna consciousness. But are we taking advantage of that devotee association? Are we developing that friendly relationship with the devotees? Or we are still relishing our social circle outside of the devotee community? We are eager to meet the other friend circle rather than devotees, or we are more eager to associate with the devotees whenever the opportunities come? Are we trying to find opportunities for our sense enjoyment, or are we trying to utilize all these opportunities for associating with the devotees? So what are our priorities? So we need to give preference to these aspects of Krishna consciousness, develop personal relationship with the Lord, personal relationship with the devotees of the Lord. And in that way, the Lord becomes pleased. So coming back to this particular verse which we were reading today, Canto 6, Chapter 9, text 46 and 47 we covered today. Here, the demigods have offered their prayers, even though they offered the prayers out of anxiety for their protection. But because they offered so many wonderful prayers to the Lord has become pleased with them, because at least they are submissive to the Lord, they have affection towards the Lord, and the Lord also reciprocate. Lord has a personal relationship. He is calling out to all these devotees, oh my beloved demigods, because you have offered these prayers in great knowledge, I am certainly pleased with you all. So Vandanam is one of the very important aspect of offering prayers to the Lord. And Vandanam could be many different aspects again. It could be stotra, it could be stava, it could be abhivyakti. Stotra simply is reciting the verses of the Shastra. Somebody can just simply recite those verses, like the points I mentioned, Kunti Maharani prayers, Bhishma Stuti, just reciting those words itself, that is stotra, that is just reciting these notable prayers. Stava means by adding one's personal emotions in those while reciting, that becomes stava. Even though it's the same, the notable verses somebody is reciting, but when one has added his own personal emotions in that, that becomes stava. And then abhivyakti means somebody is not reciting any previous verses given in the scriptures, but somebody is simply pouring out his own heart, speaking to the Lord, making his own plea, offering his own verbal offering to the Lord. Right? Just expressing one's own emotions in his own words. That is called abhivyakti. So generally what we do is, it is called abhivyakti only, right? We go stand in front of the Lord and we just say our different prayers, and in those prayers the only ingredient is asking from the Lord. So rather than just asking from the Lord, in those our own words also, we should try to glorify the Lord, be grateful to the Lord. So these different ways the Vandanam can be done, the prayers can be offered to the Lord, and Lord becomes pleased with our prayers, and he reciprocate with each and every one. So offering prayers, and if somebody cannot offer prayers, simply reciting this Hare Krishna Mahamantra, that itself is a prayer. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So I will stop it here. Granthra Srimad Bhagvatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Please forgive me if I spoke anything wrong. If I made any mistakes, please correct me. Please feel free to add anything.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Very nice. Yes, Prabhu, please go ahead.
Vrindanath, always Prabhupada. It was, thank you, Prabhu. It was such a nice nectarian class. You touched upon the finer aspects of the prayers and how it connects us, the devotees, to the Lord, and the Lord's reciprocation in the form of fulfilling our desires and also purifying us. So our by ourselves we are not pure. So the Lord also purifies us. And then I was thinking, that you're bringing in the impersonalist aspect angle also. These prayers are missing there, so it's all by their effort they achieve something. But the beauty of the bhakti yoga is the Lord's reciprocation. Satam Kirtan, I mean, Tesham Nita, Tesham
Tesham Nityabhyuktanam Yogakshepam.
that's different. Tesham Satyuktanam Bhajatam Priti Dadami Buddhi Yogantam. So, Lord Himself, or Tesham Evanukam Partham Aham Gyana Jatama Nasi. So, Lord Himself comes and purifies us. So, that reciprocation is so beautiful, so wonderful, which is missing in the other paths, Jnana path and Karma path. So, it's so beautiful. But one thing I wanted to, with your realization and Shastic knowledge, so deep and vast, is that how do I perceive, or rather, how do I ascertain that this is the kripa and to the extent that I do not misread and something which could be my karma fall as Lord's mercy. So I mean, when such reciprocation happens, Lord gives his benediction. It's not that the demigods have direct association of the Shiradaksha Vishnu, but we as we're not as elevated, so the reciprocation may come in a subtle way. So it is through our perception, through our realization that we have to ascertain that this is Lord's kripa. So how do I ascertain and how do I ensure that this is, I do not misread it?
So your question is, whenever something comes to us, how to perceive it as Lord's kripa, or so that we don't
is Lord's special kripa because of my prayer, or special kripa because Tattenukampanam Susomiksamanam. I'm trying to do that, but how is it that I do not misread? That is.
See, we should always feel that I am incapable of everything. This is not based on my own personal endeavor that I am able to progress in bhakti or I am able to do anything else. It is all because of the mercy of Krishna through various agents also. Right? Through various agents, in the sense the devotees of the Lord. So Lord make arrangement through the devotees to provide so many different things to us, to engage us in the process of Krishna consciousness, to help us to progress further. So directly or indirectly, this is the mercy of the Lord. And the devotees of the Lord, they are even more compassionate than the Lord also. Right? The Lord says one should not give this knowledge to others who are faithless. The devotees are so compassionate, they still go out and they give the Mahamantra, they give the chanting of the holy name, they distribute Bhagavad Gita, everything. So because they ultimately understand the motive of the Lord, that ultimately Lord want to bring everybody at their lotus feet, at his lotus feet. So they are just making that arrangement by going out and giving this kripa to all these different souls. So in our scenario, we should always feel whatever has happened, this is ultimately kripa of the Lord. Even though sometimes something wrong may happen, there is something good hidden in that. Right? We say blessing in disguise. So because Lord ultimately knows what is best for this devotee, maybe to remove that little prarabdha hanging on, Lord make that arrangement through some unfavorable situation also, to get us rid of any leftover prarabdha, leftover karma, to help us progress further. Just in the case of Dhruva Maharaj was not allowed to sit in the lap of his own father, Uttanapad. His stepmother said, no, you cannot sit in the lap of your father. So Dhruva Maharaj was very angered. Right? He was feeling insult. He was very angry. And then ultimately, he left the palace, he went to the forest. Now, all these situations may seem to be in the beginning as a misery imposed upon Dhruva, that he was not given this benefit of sitting in the lap of his father. He had to give up his palace and give up all the royal opulences and everything. But ultimately, what did Dhruva attain? With the mercy of Narad Muni, he was able to engage in the service of the Lord, on performing the austerities, doing the devotional activity, and ultimately he was able to see the Lord face to face. So all that what happened earlier, if his stepmother has not insulted him, if he was allowed to sit in the lap of his father, he will be happy, just live in the palace, just do his childish things only. Then he will not have attained all these great things which he was able to attain with the mercy of the Lord. So even though sometimes some unfavorable situation may be there, but that is also mercy of the Lord. So whatever situation has come, whatever progress we are able to make, we should never start thinking it's because of my own endeavor. See, one may think, oh, from my early childhood only, I was very inquisitive. I was very much interested in this process or that process. But in the background, we do not know how we came to that stage also, with whose mercy. So we should always feel this is the mercy of the Lord and his devotees that I was able to get this opportunity. Okay, so hopefully that answers your question a little bit.
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you. Yeah, I got the answer, because it's saying everything should be. So I shouldn't be trying to read anything as a reciprocation. Everything is Lord's mercy. Yeah, it's the perfect way of the bhakta consciousness. Yeah, pure devotee consciousness. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam to you and all the devotees on the call. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. This is Rupini Padma Devi Dasi from Orlando, Florida. Thank you so much for the wonderful class and your prayers and stories, and very, very enlightening. And although it's a long weekend, but it's a Monday, so you got us started with Srimad Bhagvatam Ruchi, taste. So really thankful for you. Thankful to you. And I would want to add one thing to Partha Prabhu's, if you allow me.
Yes.
That when everything is going okay, because we're in the material world, is dukhala masastakam, everything is okay in the sense we don't have health problems, monetary problems, and everyone is progressing nicely in the family, the children, in the education, then that itself is a big, big mercy, because when the problem comes, then we know that there's some mistake we have made. So that is a very big, big blessing, because nowadays so much of problems in everyone's life, mental problem, physical problem, and so much, we see around. It's amazing. And especially in materialistic families, like I know one friend of mine, she's in a complete state of coma. She's very young, and, young children. And so these miseries are there, but then when they are not there, I think it's a complete mercy, So Prabhuji, just wanted to add that. One question comes to my mind is like, you mentioned about Kunti Maharani's prayers. So I think her prayers they're so famous of asking for problem. It's because she has so much of trust in Krishna, right? That is the reason. We always come across this, like, and the first thing after the statement, everybody says, who's going to, we cannot be like Kunti. Of course, we cannot imitate Kunti Maharani at all. She's a Bua of Krishna. She's related to him. And, she's a very, very pious and elevated person, lady, Draupadi, and all these ladies are like so exalted. And so like, but, it's that somehow usko itna trust ho gaya Krishna pe ke every time Krishna is helping her, that then she says, chalo aane do problem ko, because, Krishna will be there. So is this the reason that the Shastras say that she's asking for more trouble to come? Because she has developed that trust?
Yes, very nice question, Mataji. And our devotees basically, for us, how we can relate with that, right? Kunti's prayer. Generally, our prayer will be, please keep me away from misery so I can peacefully practice my sadhana bhakti. When some disturbances come in life, we get distracted and we are not able to maintain maybe the same sadhana or something because of some bodily trouble or some other problems. But Kunti is praying, please give me more troubles, let the more problems come in life. So is she asking for problems in life? Vipatti. So actually the acharyas explain, it's not that she is asking for vipatti. Indirectly, what is she saying? Because whenever problem come, you are always here to help us, right? Whenever there is some problem in life, we have that opportunity to take your darshan because you come to help us out in that situation. So whenever problem will be there, you will also be there. So let more problem come. So in one sense, she is saying that we want to see you more and more. We want to have your association more and more, because having problems in life means you are always around us. So that is what Kunti's prayer is. She is not asking for vipatti, but she's asking for sampatti. What that sampatti is, Krishna's personal presence there, the opportunity to take Krishna's darshan and have his association. So that is her mood. Of course, yes, problems sometimes can dissuade the person also when there are too many problems and the person is not able to handle all those problems. But Krishna knows perfectly who can handle how much, and Krishna gives accordingly only to that degree. He, like in the school, the teacher will not give a 10th standard exam to a first grade student. They know what is the capacity, the capability of that first grade student, and they will be given exam only based on the first grade curriculum. So Krishna knows which devotee can handle how much, and Krishna brings maybe that level of problem or misery as their test, or to purify them further from their leftover prarabdha, or to make their dependence even more stronger. And we were discussing this last time also. Why does Krishna sometimes give problems in life? For generally, most of us, it is because of our karmic reaction, because of our previous karma, we are facing those problems in life. And but for very advanced devotees also, we see problems come in life. That is, one reason is to test the devotee, how strong his faith and conviction is in Krishna and in the process of bhakti. Second reason is Krishna gives them this misery sometime to set an example for others also. See, this devotee, even though so many problems came in life, he was still able to continue further. He was able to maintain his faith. And the third reason is Krishna gives this problem to glorify his devotee, right? To test the devotee, to make his dependence more stronger, to set an example for others, and to glorify his own devotee. So these are the various reasons sometimes Krishna gives that problem in the life of a devotee also. In general, we cannot ask for miseries in our life. We think if I have little peaceful life, I can continue my sadhana in a peaceful way. So whatever helps us in progress, that's what we should be seeking for. And Lord also knows what is our capacity. So he reciprocates accordingly.
Prabhuji, can you just repeat one more time the three things? I can note it.
So why problem come in the life of a devotee? Okay, so number one, Krishna tests the devotee. Right? More somebody progresses, the greater level of test will come. So somebody mentioned that somebody is a preacher, he is preaching Krishna consciousness. Bigger somebody is the preacher, bigger way Maya is going to test that. Krishna is going to test him. So in the life of preachers, like we know Prabhupada, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, they had to face many obstacles, right? Many problems in their life. So Krishna will test the devotee. Krishna will test the devotee to make their dependence even more stronger on Krishna. So they are even more dependent on Krishna. So that is number one, testing the devotee. Second reason Krishna gives problem in the life of a devotee is to set an example for others. That see, this devotee, even though so many problems came in his life, he did not give up the process of bhakti. He continued. He had maintained his strong faith. So to set an example for others. Third reason is to glorify his own devotee, right? By giving the problem in the life of a devotee and maintaining their strong faith, Krishna is glorifying his own devotee. See, such a wonderful devotee, even though such a big misery came upon him, but he did not shook up from the path. So these are the three different consideration why sometimes problem come in life. And Krishna gives problem only to the degree which we can handle. Krishna will not give us any problem or any test in life which we cannot face.
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you so much for this wonderful answer, 3 points. And, like, it's amazing how, from your answer, my one thought is coming that how he has kept a one-to-one relationship with each one of us. And, in spite of the fact our Jagat Guru Ji has told us this is a place of Dukhale Masastakam, it's like, full of miseries, everything. And we're just kind of floating, here and just carrying on with our with Srila Prabhupada's, like teachings. And at the same time, Krishna is also one-to-one interfering and, making it possible for us to somehow live here, because one thing we understand now is, like, once the problem will come, then that we won't be like disoriented completely. We'll handle it. And also, Prabhuji, like, this is a normal thing that when the problem comes, going back to Kunti Maharani's prayers, when the problems comes, us time pe hum Bhagwan ko zyada yaad karte hain. Otherwise, when we are happy, everything is going okay, we get so engrossed in our materialistic life that we feel that, it should be like this. And yes, I've achieved everything is good. So, but Kunti Maharani has actually, she has, in fact, like, her husband passed away, and so many negative things happen. And, like, she had a brother-in-law, Dhritarashtra, Duryodhana, all that happened. But for us also, we should understand that if we have situations of such kind, where such things happen and our family is not favorable or whatever it is, then that is also like a blessing only, because especially through Kunti Maharani's prayers, it's amazing, And I really like one aspect actually about Kunti Maharani is, like, I think it's mentioned in a couple of books that she is one person, unlike Yashoda ji, that she knows Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And at the same time, she cannot look at the feet of the Lord. She looks at the waist of the Lord, and from there up forward, because she knows if she looks at the feet, then Krishna will not like it, because, she touches the feet of her Bua. So the relationship is very, very, so it's like, there's so much of, I would say, feelings and love involved there, that she knows, but then at the same time, that really, because I was reading somewhere that, like, Krishna could have favored Devaki, right? But he didn't favor Devaki so much, although Devaki was his, like, I would say, biological mother in the jail. But she knew, because Krishna knew it's okay. I mean, Vasudev is there, my father is there. But he was so compassionate towards his Bua more than the mother, because he knew that she's alone and she's got 5 sons, and so problem is there. So what I understand is, like, when our problems are there in our life, then we have to understand that Krishna is going to be there with us, and we don't have to worry. And the point I'm repeating what you said is that he will give us. Actually, Krishna doesn't give, our own karma is there, but like, the example of Srila Prabhupada also is justified here, Prabhuji. Like, when one time his finger was cut, so Prabhupada said, my hand would have been cut, only finger was cut. Krishna saved me. So similarly, like, Krishna only a little cut in Srila Prabhupada's finger came, because Krishna, like you said, he will give problem which we can handle, and so in that context, this is also said, right? When we talk about the Prabhupada's finger being cut, like, problem comes where we can handle it. Like, Prabhupada ji could handle that cut. And he said he was so humble, of course. So I was just mixing up things, but just correct me, Prabhuji, if I'm wrong. But it's so nice to hear this, that the problem will come. So we should be like doing bhakti very strongly, because even if problems come, we have to understand that, well, it's okay. If they come, they will be in the capacity I can handle it. So there's nothing to worry about. Let me just continue in my path of bhakti and not let these worries worry me, like that. So yeah, Prabhuji, some thoughts coming from your answer and your lecture. Thank you so much for your association. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Okay, I think no other question or comment. Maybe we can end it here.
Oh, yeah. It was wonderful class by you. The prayers, importance you have given, and many examples have given there. Especially I like the one like when people used to go to Prabhupada for blessing, and the example you gave. Okay, there are many rich people, but after that, once they come to the Krishna consciousness, they are no longer attached. And then I mean, that's typically happens in India also today. I mean, people usually go to any sadhu or, elevated devotees for their blessing, but they usually ask for some miracle. Yeah. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Also, Prabhuji, one more thing came to my mind. You talked about the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and you said Hara Hare, right? That you said, you said, then, you used a different synonym in the end. So like, it was so nice to hear. I've never heard this before. So like Hare, Hara is like Radharani and Hare, right? And then you give it an example. So
Right. So
what
Hare,
did you
the vocative
specify?
form.
Yeah.
So specify is in address, in vocative, the A turns into A, right? There's a bache, we sometimes call it a bache. So bacha turns into bache. Radha, we call it as Radhe.
Radhe, yeah.
Jai Radhe, Radhe. So same with the Hara in vocation, it turns into Hare. And that is what is used in Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So that is addressing to Radha and Krishna.
Okay, because otherwise if we say Hara Krishna, it's very hard to, it kind of doesn't synchronize, right? The Mahamantra?
Right. I mean, yeah. And see, again, as per the grammatical rules, it's not that simply we are calling out in same words there. So in vocative or in poetry, it becomes we have to use it as an address form here. So that's why it turns into Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And this is what it is given in scriptures also. It's not that somebody concocted the mantra that how it should be. So again, as per the grammatical rules, how it is addressed in our regular address invocation. So that's how it becomes Hare Krishna rather than Hara Krishna. Some people say, oh, this Hare Krishna Mahamantra, why to say Hare Krishna? Better we can directly say Radhe Krishna, Radha Krishna, Radha Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Radhe Radhe. Sometimes people try to concoct their own mantra like that. But we have to follow what is given in scriptures.
Thank you so much. I never contemplated on the Hara and Hare. And also, Prabhuji, like for going to the other part of the mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. So sometimes, like Hare Rama, Hare Rama. So if we say Hare Ram, 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 Hare Hare. So, and then we say Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare. And I know these different signs are there in Sanskrit, that like a wave sign on top. And I don't know Sanskrit very well, but then suppose we, what happens when we say Hare Ram? There's such a beautiful pause, and the Hare also goes well. Otherwise, if we say sometimes Hare Rama, Rama, we kind of miss out on the Hare, because it's it's like so well tuned together that we miss out some words. So if sometimes we want to chant as Hare Ram, 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 Hare Hare, is it okay?
Yes, Mataji. I mean, it's See, it's Ram with 2 dots at the end. That's how the actual technicality it is, right? So Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. In English, when we write, it becomes A at the end. So Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. And it's not a long A actually. It's a address because if we read Devanagari, the Sanskrit letters, the letter is included in every letter. So Rama, is included in that also, but sometimes we make it as a long a ki matra jaise hota hai. So people put that one. So it's not Rama, it's Rama. So it's
Rama.
perfectly fine to call out Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Okay. So then the word Rama, one is used the wrong way, Rama, like, and then Hare Ram, and then there is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. So that Rama comes out, that's perfectly okay.
Yeah, your voice is
Then we
pretty.
can go. Yeah. So then we can go in the flow. If it's Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, that's sound comes at the end, and that is okay, right? Can you hear me,
Right.
Prabhuji?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yes, that's perfectly fine, Mataji.
Okay,
Again,
okay.
I said one doesn't have to become too much stuck up with these things. Based on
Yeah.
somebody's pronunciation, for some people saying Rama is more easy. For some, it's saying Rama is more easy. So again, as no hard and fast rules, Lord knows that.
And also, Prabhuji, the Ram is not the Lord Ram, Sita Ram, right?
Again, it's
Can you
persons.
mention
Yes.
that also a little bit?
Yeah, so it's again person's personal relationship also in that way. If somebody is more attracted towards Lord Rama, they can consider this Hare Rama is addressed to Lord Ramachandra. Some people, devotee, address it as addressed to Lord Balaram. And other devotees, they feel Hare Rama also is addressed to Radha and Krishna only, because Rama here comes from Ramana. So Radha Ramana. Right, so Rama means who is dwelling in the heart of Radharani. So Radha Raman. So here Hare Rama is addressing to Radha and Raman Devji. So that's also Hare Rama is addressing to Radha and Krishna only. So it's again as per our personal relationship. But we have a relationship. Are we addressing in our mind as Sita and Ram, or we are addressing to Radha and Krishna?
Prabhuji, I have a follow-up question on this. Like when devotee saying like Hare Krishna, so Hare is Radharani and Krishna is Bhagwan. Then we say Ram, and if somebody is reciting for Lord Balaram, okay. So the Hare has a different meaning, or Hare is still Radharani while chanting.
Hare, that's why in the mantra, the name directly named Radha is not used. Hara word is used in a general term to address to the energy of the Lord. So if we are addressing to Krishna, Hara refers to the internal energy, internal pleasure potency of Krishna, which means Radharani. If somebody is addressing to Balaram, in case of Rama here, referring to Balaram, so Hara means Lord Balaram's energy. And if somebody is referring to Lord Ramachandra, then Hara refers to Lord Rama's pleasure potency, Sita Devi. So accordingly, the connotation of Hara will change. So that's why it's general word used as Hare, referring to the energy of the Lord. And in the purport also, Prabhupada says, it is a call to the Lord and his energy. One is calling out to the Lord and the energy of the Lord. Please engage me in your service. So Hare in every case refers to Lord's personal pleasure potency.
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Prabhuji. I think we can offer our prayers, obeisances to all the devotees. And also very nice talked about the obeisances, Prabhuji, that even for the Matajis, both hands have to be in front and touching the floor, and also the forehead has to be. This is the first time I've heard this, Because what you said, na, bead bag, that is what I always have, my bead bag, and only one hand, not even reaching out. So I'm always worried that when I'm bowing down, I'm not worried about, I'm not thinking of the Lord. I'm bowing down to the Lord, I'm like, but I'm bowing down. My bead bag should not touch the floor. So thank you for mentioning that point, that we should not have the bead bag that time when we enter
Yeah,
the
you can
temple.
put the bead bag in the back.
Yes, and both hands stretched out, and our forehead should touch the floor. That's what you said.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for telling us this basic thing. Although being in practice since some time, but then this teaches us that we should actually think that we are kindergarten students, and always there's something wrong we're doing, and we still have to keep on learning more and more.
Yeah,
You
there is
know that.
always something, Mataji, to learn and grow, right? And even though we may have heard it long back and we start taking the things for granted.
Yes. Prabhuji,
So
for such a long time after I joined Bhakti, you won't imagine, small children taught me this. I was going over the bead, and because nobody told me, I never heard it, and maybe Krishna didn't want me to chant so purely in the beginning, because so I was going over the bead, over the like I would say that, and then I went over. So I used to think from small bead to big bead, and then again small
yeah.
bead to big bead. That's how it went. But one time there's a session of small children in our temple, and they said there was a girl, and she says, okay, now we have to turn around. I said, turn around? I've never done the turning around. Then, so then it had been a couple of years, and then I learned, okay, I was doing the wrong way. So whenever, the right way has to come, it takes its time, because we have so many anarthas. I'm talking about myself, that, like about the obeisances, I learned the right way today. So, and of course, the only difference is that the ladies don't bow down fully as a flat, like a rod, but at the same time, when they bow down, they have to bow down with both the hands also reached out. That is same for both, right?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Vancha
Hi.
kalpatrubhishya. Yeah. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for small details. Vancha kalpatrubhishya kripa sindhu evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Anant Koti Vaishnavrind ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Yeah.
His Vrindanath Prabhuji ki jai. Thank you so much to all the devotees who joined.
Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna.